What is going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome back again for another video. I do want to apologize in advance because I've been gone for almost 2 weeks now, dealing with some sickness here. But we are back and we are out to discuss this, not rumor, but they talked about AD being traded to the Bulls, on the Jay Williams and Max Kellerman podcast. So we'll talk about that right after this.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. All right, so if you watch, ESPN and all that podcast, I was listening to Max Kellerman, Jay Williams, and, Keyshawn Johnson, which is, he's, when it comes to basketball, I really don't take Keyshawn's input in there. It's kind of invalid, but they were talking about, at first they were insisting about Jimmy Butler coming to the Bulls. That is not going to happen. And plus, I don't want that to happen. I just, no, that's a bad idea. But the notion of AD coming to the Bulls kind of, was kind of interesting. And I know all the baggage that comes with Anthony Davis, injury prone. When he sneezes, he's out for 2 weeks and all that stuff. But that is the glaring weakness of this Bulls team is the interior defense. And AD brings a whole ton of that. Again, the caveat is when healthy. Now, the proposed trade, and if this happens, of course you do it. It's for Vooch and Kobe White. Of course the Bulls should do it if that ever happens. The thing is, if I was LA, why would I do that? I understand that AD is always injured and all that stuff, but are we really better off having Vooch and Kobe White in the lineup than a no-show Anthony Davis? You know what I mean? Is that really going to make a massive difference? If I was LA, the only time it would happen is if, you include a first-rounder or Patrick Williams, where if I was the Bulls, that is never going to happen. I would never, put any first rounder or much more so Patrick Williams against over a trade for Anthony Davis. Now, again, barring what happens to the playoffs, what if the Bulls really don't see Zach as a max player? And as I talked about in the last video about Zion Williamson, and that is a long shot. I highly doubt that Pelicans are gonna do that. They would never do that. That's just, but would the Lakers actually do AD for Zach straight up? Because at this point, it will be straight up because it's going to be a sign and trade. As a matter of fact, I think the Lakers have to include a little bit of player there. If I was the Bulls, I'd do that if they really don't value Zach, right? If at this point, is Zach more valuable than AD? I would say so. What if, the Lakers included a second rounder, a first rounder perhaps, or a young player, Malik Monk perhaps, with Zach and maybe a throw-in, think of somebody else, I don't know, Tony Bradley or something like that. I do that. I would do that. Subsequently, I would trade Vooch as well for somebody else, like a shooting guard or a small forward that would fill the hole that Zach would leave. At that point, once you do get AD, can you keep both? I guess would be a really slow lineup though. You get Vooch, and then at the center, and then you get AD in the power forward. Then you can slide Patrick Williams back at the 3, DeMar at 2, and then you got Lonzo at 1. So that's a pretty tall lineup right there. Not a whole lot of fast break opportunities there, I tell you that. With Lonzo, and DeMar is not the fastest either. I mean, Patrick Williams is, not the quickest. But it's pretty lengthy. We got some size. Front court and back court. So it might not be the worst idea if you decide to keep Vooch. Let's say you can't flip Vooch, then you keep him. He got one more. This year is going to be his last year. So before he leaves, you can maybe flip him for somebody else. I don't know who that is. a younger player, perhaps a shooting guard or a small forward, something like that. I don't know if a Bradley Beal trade. Bradley Beal is going to command like $40 million. I don't want to pay Zach 40, much more so Bradley Beal. Those kind of deal that maybe you can find out there, but it's not the worst idea. And I know most fans out there would not want to touch Anthony Davis because of his history, and rightfully so. But, at that point, he's going to make, supposedly, if Zach signs the max, he's going to make like, what, $3 million less than Zach LaVine? Is that really a bad idea? And now Zach is 27. He'll be 28. You sign him for 5 years, for example. You're tied up for the next 5 years. While with AD, you're only tied up for 3 if things doesn't go well. And at least you're still in the contention with AD and DeMar. Granting AD would still stay healthy. If he does not, let's say he misses the same amount of games, are you really going to go further with Zach? Maybe. It all depends on this playoffs. But, this past few games, most Bulls fans are, I think we can all agree that we need to give Zach the max. But I think most fans are not opposed to finding better options out there as well. And I'm not saying this is a better option than Zach. It's just an option. But let me know in the comments if this is even feasible, because they were talking about it earlier. Talk about Jimmy Butler. I'd rather keep Zach for 5 years than get Jimmy Butler here again. But yeah, let me know in the comment section how you feel about this. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're a Bulls fan, consider subscribing so we can talk about what if scenarios like this. And also, the playoffs are coming up, so it's either going to be a heartbreak. Most likely going to be a heartbreak. We're all going to vent here. So, again, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.